In an essence, I just came up with this yesterday. The reason my prices are so high is because I sell a piece of God. And if you were to put that in a mnemonic, it would be POG. A piece meaning either P-I-E-C-E or P-E-A-C-E. And this country, and I know, this country and globally is dying. Spiritually, this country is dead. And what I do is I tap into the inherent healing mechanism of each person, and I try to bring their soul back to God.
Okay. What do you mean by spiritual medicine? Isn't it some kind of redundancy in the first place? Doesn't require spirituality all the time?
I know that in my experience with osteopathy, you have to reach a certain degree of spirituality before you can do it efficiently. It is taught on a biomechanical model, but the osteopaths that I know that are effective are spiritual people.
Do you consider that only osteopath can be spiritual?
No, but I haven't...
Do you know of MDs who are also spiritual?
No, I've never met one.
She's going to be happy, Kathy.
Practicing allopathic medicine. Kathy is an MD that practices osteopathy.
You have a lot of MDs who don't touch any antibiotics, who don't even touch anybody, who are working with energy, spirituality.
I don't know them.
Well, you don't know them, but I know a lot of them.
No, I know. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know anybody. If you want me to say that, then...
Okay, okay, good. We were talking just before to a classic doctor, talking about diseases. Osteopaths say they are taking care not of diseases, but of the person, of the global individual. Can you elaborate on that?
I don't treat just the physical symptoms of the people that come here. When they come here for a specific physical complaint, but I'm very open with them in saying that I cannot help them with their physical complaint until I treat their emotional and spiritual level also. Because I believe that every disease has an emotional basis to it. And unless that emotional basis is treated, you will not take care of the pathology.
Absolutely, but how do you link together emotional and spiritual? You say that there is always a spiritual and emotional content. So what's the spiritual problem of your patient? Emotional, it's easy to understand, but what about spiritual?
Emotions link you to your soul. Feelings link you to your body.
So people are sick from being disconnected from God?
Yes.
That's the only source of sickness? I would agree on that.
Yes, absolutely.
So are you not playing God in trying to reconnect them with the divine? Why cannot they reconnect themselves to the divine? Why do they need someone in between? Or why God being almighty cannot reconnect them by himself? No,
I'm going to give you an example of osteopathy. If there was, in relating to osteopathy, with this question, if I had a patient here that needed to pick up a box in the corner that was 50 pounds, they can pick up the box, but if I help them, it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
So God uses me as an instrument.
Are you the only instrument of God on earth?
No.
You're just an instrument.
Yes.
Good. That means those people have been deserted by God?
No.
So do you mean that they are sick because of a lack of faith? In themselves, maybe?
Yes. Or they haven't... They don't... I'm lost on this one.
Anyway, it doesn't matter, we can keep going. So in what way you are not doing a priest work? What's the difference? You see yourself as a priestess? A minister?
No, I see myself as a servant. As someone giving service to people that are in pain.
And you think that's supposed to be the real message of a doctor? To be the servant of God?
I think everyone should be a servant of God.
So everyone is a doctor? Or should be a doctor?
In a sense, yeah. Yes.
That's the doctor inside, and the doctor within you're talking about.
Mhm.
That's also the God within.
Mhm.
So what do you think has driven people to have lost this sense of the doctor inside and of the God within?
Oh, I can't say that on camera, Roger.
So do you see the role of a doctor as some kind of an intercessor, right?
Yes.
Someone between the realm of the mortals and of the divine.
Mhm.
So you are half mortal and half divine? Are you completely human when you are an intercessor? Are you a doctor? Are you a priest? What's the difference between a priest and a doctor in this specific line of work?
Can't answer that right now.
Good.
Can't answer that right now.
So in what way the fact you're also a doctor, a physician, and an osteopath helps you in this work of intercession between your patient and God?
Half of what I do is prayer.
And what is the other half?
I can't articulate that because in my articulation of it, it takes away from what it actually is. It's something I suppose I was born with, and half of it is what I was born with and half of it is what has been taught to me, and what I've taken from what I've been taught and evolved that into the system that I use.
So do you think you have learned or unlearned something in becoming a doctor?
Both.
You have learned and unlearned.
Mm-hmm. Every teacher that I've ever had, I take what I'm receptive to at that time and I mold it into my system.
But for this line of work, specific line of work, of pleading ultimately for the patient for better health to the divine, do you think that having learned how to be a doctor is like a drawback, a setback, an hindrance, or an advantage? And if it's, as I think, an advantage, explain why.
An advantage to who? The patient?
Mm-hmm. For the ultimate sake of the patient. In what way the patient profit of your experience as a doctor?
Well, that would be in terms of more physical and to establish credibility.
Trust, you mean, and respect, for instance, is important in the system. That means you have better therapeutical results because patients see you as a doctor, as the important person in the know-how. The new class of new priest of the new science that has replaced religion, right? But in one word, what do you need to be a doctor for? Why do you need all those diplomas on the wall? Why are you not a nun? What's the difference? Why don't you want to join a religious order that already exists?
There is a religious order that exists of nuns that are doctors.
Mm-hmm. Catholic, you mean?
Yeah.
So what keeps you from joining them?
Because I'm doing what I need to do right now.
I think so too. Mm-hmm.
I don't need to join in order to do it. And I'm already teaching people some of the healing that I know that they can do.
Good.
Just
That's
on
the
their
plan.
own.
You are trying to teach people to become their own doctors, what they have forgotten to. So you're a teacher.
I've always been a
You're not a
teacher.
healer, but a teacher, which is the ultimate healing, right? Teaching people how to heal themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's the current theory of osteopathy that's being taught today, is to, when treating a person who's sick, not trying to see what the pathology is, but trying to see what healing there is that exists in that system, and trying to build from there, not in the disease itself.
Don't you also teach people not only to heal themselves, but to heal others, which is the sense of gift? very
Well,
important in the health maintenance
In
process.
healing themselves, they will heal others.
In what way?
I can't explain that.
Okay, Dina, you were saying that in order to heal others, you need to be healed at first. I think there is also the other way around. In order to really heal yourself, you also need to heal others, which reinforce your healing patterns. In order to be a healer, you need to be whole. You need to be healed. You need to be healthy. And that's in this way that you need to be healed before becoming healer. And being healed is being a healer. But on the other hand, in order to keep being whole, to keep your health, you need to give, you need to share, you need to heal other people, you need to belong. What I'm teaching people is to love themselves in the first place. That's the first step, to become their own self-healer, self-priest, establish their connection with the divine within, the divine without. Then, because you cannot expect them to love themselves, to love their family, to love their country, to love God, or to love the earth, when they're not in peace with themselves. So you have to heal them at first. That's the first thing, is you show first. But after that, they have to show something in return. They have to show they are good people. You can only love people who can express love. You can heal people who can heal others. And when they heal themselves, when they love themselves, they are ready to love their wife, their children, their neighborhood, their country, all living things on earth, and ultimately being in peace with God. That's what we're trying to explain.
Well, ultimately, world peace is it starts in yourself,
Yes.
and then it.
But it has to branch out, right? Real healing is almost missionary.
Mm-hmm.
You heal yourself at first, then you want to give back the gift you have received.
Mm-hmm.
Explain me how you teach that to people. You give them tasks, you give them some homework to be good, to care for others.
Most people that I treat are so lost, and when they ask me initially what they should do, I teach them how to pray.
To pray to God.
Yes.
What for? For themselves or for others?
For healing. For themselves.
For themselves.
First.
Then, let's say they are granted and
Yes.
they are better. That's it. They are happy with a little ego,
No.
or do they try to do something else?
If they do get to that step, then I ask them to give their will to God.
Concretely, how does it work to give your love to God? Is to go to church or to do something concrete for God? Like helping human brethren, like helping the children, like helping the suffering.
I don't have to tell them that. Once they get to that step, it automatically
I think
follows from that.
that's the nature of the beast. You need to teach, you need to tell people what to do. They don't know, they are strangers, as you say, they are lost. That's part of the sickening process. They are disconnected, they even disconnected from themselves. So you have to teach them that they belong to something higher than themselves. Of course they belong to God, we are just a part of God. But in between, we belong to the human race belongs to the earth belongs to the solar system, and so forth. So people need to understand the broader picture. It's because they give too much room to their own ego that they're afraid of losing this ego that you call death. In my language, we don't have a word for that, and so forth. So you have to teach people to give away. Of course, ultimately, everything belongs to God, but God, there is only delusion. God is the only reality. But there is different way of expressing reality. You don't want all the people to retreat in a monastery in Tibet and to be contemplative. You want people to help others. So how do you tell them to do so? If they ask you to, you have to become a counselor. You have to become also a teacher somehow.
Well, most people haven't gotten to that point.
So let's say that they come to that point and they ask you, Dr. Villanueva, okay, what should I do now?
I would tell them to help to work with the poor, the homeless.
Why the poor, the homeless?
Because it teaches people humility.
Why not the children, for instance, who are
Well-
always innocent? You can be poor, it's your fault. You
Well,
can be
that-
homeless, it's also your fault.
Well,
It's maybe not your
the
fault.
poor, I mean the children. I mean children when I say the poor.
Mm-hmm. Because they're always innocent. They don't deserve what's happening to them. They are beautiful. They know better than we do about God, very
Well, they're
especially.
closer to God, so they're easier to work with.
Right, in the first place. And they deserve it better.
Also
Mhm.
an osteopathy, same thing.
So to give the advice to people to help children.
Mm-hmm.
How, concretely? To go in a place where they are dying, to volunteer in an hospital, to assist them, to help kids in the streets, to teach kids, to put them off drugs. How do you do that concretely? Because people can ask you, I'm eager to do so, but how do I do that concretely? How do I do that? How can I help children?
I haven't gotten to that point.
Okay, we'll come.
I haven't gotten to that point.
What we hear sometimes is people absolutely outraged to the fact that in talking of God and of healing through God or by God and for God, for people, you are charging them any money. In my philosophical system, it's just the other way around. You are supposed to give to people who can give, who understand the sense of sacrifice. Sacrifice not in the American sense, which is to take, but to give. That's very different. So, how do you deal with this issue of charging people? Don't you think that people should pay for their health? How does it work? Okay, I'm going to rephrase my question.
I run two practices, one in Santa Monica that most people here can afford to pay the prices or they wouldn't be able to come here. And the other clinic that I run for a nonprofit organization, I give my time and I don't get paid for that.
So you are practicing some kind of justice, right?
Yes.
You
For
see
the
yourself as some
people-
kind of a Robin Hood. You take to the rich and you give to the poor, which is the work of God.
I just charge people according to what they can afford and need.
So do you ask them before taking care of them, are you rich, are you poor?
No, I just let them know that depending on, it's more applicable to this clinic, that I tell them that my fees are high.
Your fees are high even with poor people, or only with rich people? So do you mean that people have to make a sacrifice that's consistent with what they earn in order to be better, which I agree completely. They have to give, they have to take their own health into their own hands, do something concretely for God, show some respect to the physician, otherwise they won't heal. That's why I'm absolutely against the idea of any kind of insurance to delegate upon society or any private corporation one's own health. You just cannot heal. So you agree with that. You don't take any insurance, right, Dr. Villanueva?
No, I don't take insurance.
Excellent. So give us an example of how much you charge people. Do you charge them in a different way when they are sick differently? If they have 10 kind of different ailments or imbalances?
It depends on the acuteness and the chronicity of the pathology. And if it takes me more time and energy and also the severity of it.
I think people don't really understand that a MD, a doctor practicing allopathic medicine, can see 60 or 80 patients in a day. You can hardly see more than 10 patients in a day because you're going to spend at least 1 hour with them. That's completely different instead of 8 minutes, right?
My initial evaluation usually for an adult usually takes between 90 minutes and 2 hours. Follow-up visits usually range from 30 minutes to an hour.
And how much do you charge for that, for the first consultation, for instance?
The first consultation in my Santa Monica clinic runs between $425 to $495 for 90 minutes to 2 hours.
It is an amazing value when compared to the price of an MD
Well, I take a full
for 8 minutes.
history, physical, and then I do a treatment. So there's how many hours? The initial visit takes a great amount of time.
That's the only way to hit at the right cause of the disease, not just to take care of the effect and practice the bandage policy. Most doctors will not have the time.
Well, it's more of taking a global approach of the patient too, and also getting to know them, because you want to establish a relationship with them.
So I suppose instead of seeing your patient for years and years, dozens of times every year, you just see them a limited amount of time over a short period of time.
Well, most people that get osteopathic treatments here get between 7 and 10 treatments, depending on what they need.
So
And
that's a very good value.
usually, over time, if they progress, then I start tapering off the treatments to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Some people only come to see me once a month on maintenance, and some people come to see me 1 to 2 times a year, just depending on what they need. But my aim is to not see them, because once I either put them on maintenance or they don't need to come, they feel they don't need to come and see me anymore, they generally do really well.
And when you consider them healed, don't you give them some kind of homework to do? Don't you tell them that they should, in order to maintain their health, do something valid, gratifying, they're going to be proud of, otherwise they're going to come back?
It's
You
usually
should keep giving.
It's usually in a form of service to people. By that time, they've found it. They've found either through their job or their family, hobby, or it usually involves some type of service.
To God, ultimately. That's
Yes.
the only master you want to serve, right?
Yes, to God.
To God. How can you serve God through a hobby? In
You
playing
have to
tennis.
stop it.
I'm
The current model of osteopathy that's now being taught is a biodynamic state, where we're treating from the future and bringing it to the present. Meaning that the result that we're treating in the present, we want the result that we want in the present to ultimately come to the state where it would be in the future. Versus the way that osteopathy has been taught before, which is biomechanically, and now it's not. Go
So
ahead,
is it
Roger.
a plus or a minus? Is it better? Is it worse? It's
it's a-
better, right?
It's better.
I mean, you have been adding a chronologic perspective in medicine. So you are what you are practicing is chronomedicine. You are
Mhm.
putting
Mhm.
sicknesses and people into a broader picture, which
Is this-
encapsulates also the chronologic perspective of the individual, right?
Because ultimately, the individual who is sick is craving healing. So we try to bring that state about, and in doing that, we take it to, oh, I lost it.
No, but
Awesome.
let me
We
speak on
take
that.
it to the end state, well, which is God. I mean, where it
Sure.
originated.
But that's interesting because you are working God in a chronologic perspective that's in the future,
Mhm.
and I'm working God in a chronologic that's about the past. You're going to reestablish people in harmony in their global self, in their future perspective,
Mhm.
but in order to go to the future,
Mhm.
you also to understand your source.
Absolutely.
What has happened, what's the cause, to face
Mhm.
what people trying to escape at any cost, their own accountability, answerability. What have I done? Who is the asshole, God or I? People are always responsible for what's happening to them, individually or collectively. Or collectively. If 50,000 children are dying every day from starvation, that's not God's responsibility, that's our responsibility. That's our free will involved in the system. So God is never an asshole in the first place. God has nothing to do with evil, nothing to do with sickness, nothing to do with anything but divine work. Love, harmony, justice, health, and we are the one to blow it. So we have to go back, like an amnesis of the osteopath, go back to what has created this imbalance, this disharmony in the divine natural order within, and acknowledge it full force. Oh, okay, Eureka, I know, I get the point. It's because of, okay. Then you are ready to go to the future. But you have also, American people are always in the future. It doesn't work. European people are always in the past. It doesn't work. They're already dead. We should be in the present all the time. The present is just a perfect juncture between the past and the future. Understanding that time can be suspended at any time. That's when precisely you suspend time and the real healing occurs. You get the complete consciousness and awareness, the awakening and say, okay, I get the point. I know why I'm sick. Therefore, I know already the solution for tomorrow. I know exactly what to do. Just to give, to live, to be, to exist. And who are we human? Just precisely givers. Givers. We are here to deliver something. But you need to acknowledge what is human nature, ultimately, which is to give. And therefore to also understand what you have done wrong with that. Instead of giving, you have been taking and wanted more and more. That's the difference between self, which is valid, that God wants us all different, and ego, which is not valid. That's just like an inflation, self-inflation of the self that's completely perverted. God has made us all different with a specific gift, equal, and we have to deliver. In exchange, we want more than our due. And that's the ego. And that's why we are sick. In order to get the point. Don't you think that sickness are always wake-up call? What do you think?
Yes. Sickness is, yes. It's an opportunity for healing.
Yes.
Is that going to wipe you out of a job? If everybody becomes aware of that?
No, it'll elevate my job, actually.
How?
How does that elevate my job? If everyone were to attain that level, I'm not sure how to explain that. I don't know. I don't know how